that there's a puppet department in the acting department of our school. So she was from the puppet department, but they are trained as actors too. So they both have, everyone in the movie has training as an actor.
Just now, I don't mind. Thank you. You asked us what we think about your movie, and it was like really Romanian movie. But what was your real intention? You wanted to do like a really Romanian movie, or more like European or something?
I would be proud if I made a film that's not very Romanian in terms of the way you watch the story. Because if you're very Romanian, I mean, there's there are some very specific things about which you can make a film and somehow get a very get a truth or convey truth in your film that's very general and that's not very specific. That's not that. I mean, it talks to you, it speaks to you, even if it's very specific. But I think my story is, maybe it could have been made, it could have been staged in the US or somewhere else. It's not very important for me to have specific or a general theme or story. It's important for me to, if that story works, that's the most important thing for me. And I'm not very good at defining things in what concerns my story or my film. I don't know, it's just the thing that there are things that you might learn from books, from professors, but then you have to feel somehow what you like or what you don't like to be in your film. For example, I thought a lot about how comic my film is going to be, and if that is going to affect the drama or the tension or the conflict in my film. How did you find it? Is this a comedy or is it a drama? How's it working? I don't know.
It was very interesting seeing it after the film which came before, which was very bleak, but there were similarities.
Which film was it?
A Time for a Swim, A Good Day for a Swim, which was unremittingly grim. But a very fine film, very fine film. But yours took the same sort of thing but gave it a comic edge and turned the relationship on its head.
Does it leave space for, does it make you wait to see what happens in the story? Does that happen, or it's just something very funny?
I thought it was really funny, and you're laughing, and then suddenly something was said, and you're like, oh, crikey, I shouldn't be laughing, because that's quite serious. So it sort of put the brakes on quite abruptly and passed through it. But it was quite a nice wry ending.
And for me it was comical, but to some extent only. So everything was in moderation. So there was parts that we can laugh, which we can laugh. But also it wasn't shallow. It wasn't just comedy, just from one trick to another, just to make us laugh. So it wasn't in American style. I consider it's European.
Thank you.
How difficult was it shooting the heavy traffic scenes when obviously you have to use a lot of cars which are there, you have to kind of get your car around them and so on?
We had to improvise and to we had to shoot no matter what. And actually, even if I think it's gonna be the third or fourth time that I met mention the producers, but that's the life of director, or would-be director. The producer, we had an agreement that they would stop 2 lanes that will shoot, the part in which she gets off the car and stops the other cars for her to be able to, and they couldn't do that, or they wouldn't do that. I don't know, and that was a bit hard, but we cheated. I mean, it's not. If you look carefully, or maybe a second time, you can see that it's not really in the traffic, or there are several parts of the film that are shot in real traffic, and others are like cheated. We cheated, yeah, we cheat a lot in filmmaking.
Sorry, how long did the project take you to complete from script writing right through to finish filming?
If I would, I think if I would start writing now and just work on this project, I think that would take me 1 month, 2 months maybe, and then another 2 or 3 months to for the rest. But it was made on a longer period, because you don't get to work on just one project at a time. So there's are you interested in filmmaking?
No, I was just curious at the length of time showing comparison to how it was.
There's a guy that writes very well on script writing, McKee. Well, he says, for example, that a feature film you could write in about 6 months. And the interesting part is that the first 4 months you're just playing with a kind of how would you say that in English? Scheme. It's like it's a puzzle. You don't actually get to write your film until the last 2 months or something, and then everything gets more complicated because it's it's bigger. It's a bigger thing. You get to work with the producer, then you look for your actors, and then you prepare the shooting, and everything gets more complicated.
I was wondering whether you ever made a film without writing the script.
Whether
You ever made a sort of film without writing it.
I'd love to, but it's not the case. It's not my case. So then write me. At Every.com if you have any short projects or feature. Yeah.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Gabriel for coming all the way for this Q&A. Thank you.
For having me here.
Thanks for joining us here on the CineCity Festival podcast. Visit www.cine-city.co.uk to view this year's programme, book tickets, and stay on top of all the festival news. You can also subscribe to the podcast while you're there to make sure you never miss an episode. The CineCity podcast is created in association with Director's Notes, the weekly film podcast dedicated to the what, how and why of independent filmmaking. Find it over at www.directorsnotes.com.